Welcome to the metal fab area. We are just to the left of the auto area as you're coming in, and to the right of welding, sandwiched in between. My name is Tyler Hazlett. I'm the metal fab RM. And I'll be taking you through a walkthrough of the different tools and equipment we have available to you in the metal fab area. I would recommend for all the tools here to wear safety goggles because they're always nice. And for the vast majority of them, there are abrasive discs, media, and dust. And so you really would want to wear some sort of respiratory protection if you have the option and if you have it with you. This is our abrasive cutoff saw. It's got a really big cutoff disc like you might find on one of the angle grinders. It's fairly safe like the angle grinder, with the exception of a couple of hazards. The first one is the abrasive dust that comes off like the angle grinders. I would strongly recommend for almost all tools in the area both safety goggles and some sort of respiratory protection while you're using it. This saw itself is operated a lot like the chop saw in the wood shop area or other saws. You want to be careful when you're making a cut as you come into the workpiece that you ease into touching the workpiece and you don't slam the saw down in the workpiece, because at the 15,000 RPM this spins, you could shatter the disc and throw little bits of abrasive disc into you and the wall and the tool. We have a combination belt and disc sander over by the wall by the air line attachments. There's a switch on the back. You can sand stuff at right angles. You can stand big stuff that are flat. Don't get hurt. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can get pinched if you're trying to sand something, then it'll roll into the disc sander. But other than that, it's a pretty safe tool, pretty easy to use. This is our sandblasting media cabinet. It's got a switch up top, which turns on both the vacuum and the light. You're probably going to need additional light, so we've got an additional light that's helpful on the side of the cabinet. You can access the inside of the cabinet from doors on either side that are dogged. There are gloves, just like a standard sandblasting cabinet. And most importantly, this filter back here needs to be changed and clapped free of dust. There's a small hammer on the side and there's a trap door on the bottom. And if you don't do that every 10 or so minutes, 15 or so minutes, the filter starts clogging up and you start dumping tons of dust into the air out here, which is not as good for you or the machine or anybody really. So try to keep in mind the filter, try to keep in mind, where your part is. And if you need more media for whatever reason, we've got a bucket of it down below the machine so you can top it off. Do not add additional media that you bring yourself. A lot of it is the wrong size. It'll clog the machine. So be careful with what you add here. Don't put in earplugs. Don't put in paper towels. Try to avoid big chunks of tape. Other than that, go ahead, knock off dust, knock off dirt, knock off grease, knock yourself out. We got a benchtop grinder. I try to keep a stone wheel on one side and a wire wheel on the other side. All of the tools in here, I kind of take safety to be your business. Absolutely wear safety goggles for the wire wheel. These are thick, heavy gauge wires and they come off this wheel at like 4,000 RPM and they will go through your eye, they will go through your eyelid. They will not stop. Do not use aluminum on the grinding wheel side. As you press aluminum into the grinding wheel, you create a wedging force against the grains in the grinding wheel, and the grinding wheel can explode. Be very careful. This is a steel and hard metals tool only on the grinding wheel side. We also have a press. There used to be a manual. We're going to print out another one. You operate it like a standard bottle jack, and you press out and in bearings. You can straighten rods, all sorts of other things that you need to apply a high amount of force for. Try not to put on longer handles on the pump jack than about this one. You're not going to necessarily get an improved result by putting more pressure on your wheel bearings or whatever else you're trying to get together. And in fact, you may just destroy it. So the short handle self-limits you. It prevents you from putting too much pressure on the pump or on your part. If you do have something that you really need to crank down on, absolutely go ahead, throw a real long pole in here, but just keep in mind that most tasks where you've got machined parts or other sorts of things, you're not going to get any benefit out of a longer handle. This is our horizontal bandsaw. The one thing you don't want to do with this tool is apply pressure downward if you don't think it's going fast enough or it's not moving. There's a hydraulic ram down here that you can damage fairly easily if you're not careful. There's a flag here that opens up the valve and allows it to move. And there's a little bit of a twisty knob on the top, just above the valve, that controls the speed of fall. So, to demonstrate, you can open up the valve and you can change the speed at which the whole top assembly descends. For ideal cuts, you want the saw to be descending at about the same speed that it's cutting through your material. If you set it to go too fast, it will not cut through the material any faster. It will just start walking off to one side or the other. This is our vertical metal bandsaw. There's an authorization class where we go into detail about how to use this saw, how to change the blade, and how to do all the other things you need to know to run this tool safely and effectively. In the small annex in between the machine shop and the rest of the metal fab area, we have an upright tabletop drill press. We have an arbor press. Please be gentle with it. And we have a sheet metal brake. Please try to keep all metal that you put in the sheet metal brake to 16 gauge steel or thinner, or thicker brass and aluminum if you need. Don't put round stock, don't put thick stuff, don't put hardened material in here. You'll just damage the machine and then it'll be a pain in the butt to fix. We have a number of presses, dies, cutters, benders, and assorted tools under the table. If you're feeling excited or you want to check them out, go ahead, pull them out. Please put them back under the table when you're done.